Nightmare has always been a favorite robot of mine. I remember being a fan of it since I was little. Although it hasn't competed since 2016, I thought I'd pay a tribute to it with a HexBug scale replica. My plan started with the build-your-own-bot models. I would use the battery compartment and control board from the base, as well as the wheels and some parts from the vertical spinner attachment. I took the axles and gears off the wheels to drill a hole in them just big enough to put some N20s. A bit of super glue and they worked like a charm. Then I got to modeling and 3D printing the base and arms, and it turned out not great. I mean, you can clearly tell it's Nightmare, but the proportions are all off, due in large part to the space needed for the batteries. So I bought some small lipos, which I believe are the same kind used in the Sawblaze and the Whiplash HexBugs, and used the control board of a HexBug Byte Force since it was the smallest one I could think of. With that, the electronics were ready to go, but I still had to remake the chassis. And here I want to give a shout out to Pinfury13 on Thingiverse. Their mini Nightmare model and design cues really helped me get things right on the RC. Of course, I had to make some modifications and took some creative liberty to get the wheel guards to line up properly, but it was looking a lot better than my last design. Had to do some sanding to get the battery close enough to fitting, but after all the trimming, painting, and gluing, things were looking good. As for the blade, I made two versions, but though the robot was based on the 2016 version, I liked the 2015 tooth design better. So, how did it all go? Okay, this is going to be the first test of the weapon motor. The drive works fine. I know the motor works, it's just a matter of how fast is it going to spin. The axle is not yet mounted, or glued I should say, so hopefully it doesn't self-destruct. So let's see. It self-destructed, but it's a good sign. After some washers were added and the axle was glued, I put the top panel on with some black tape and pretty much called it good. The weapon doesn't spin quite as fast as I thought it could, but it's still enough to have fun with. After this version was finished, I actually went back and edited the base to be a bit wider as to fit the battery better, as well as some other minor things like lining up the hole on the on-off button better. All the files to the 3D models are linked in the description. If you end up building your own, let me know how it turned out. Also, real quick, this video was supposed to be up sooner, but I regret nothing.